Denver Lynx's first official podcast episode. I am your host, Izzy Bennyworth, and today I am sitting down with the members of Denver Lynx Radio. So we're going to go around and just kind of introduce all of our members, and they'll just tell us their name and their position and what kind of music they have. So Nat?
Yeah, so I'm Nat Mall. I'm the president. I have a radio show whenever we do premiere, and I'll be playing like a lot of indie stuff when I'm not doing all the administrational stuff for the club.
My name's Kath. I'm vice president. I will be taking care of everything electronic for my radio section. It'll be everything from like IDM to more mainstream stuff. My favorite artists are like Aphex Twin, Burial, G Jones. So if you like that, tune in.
So my name's Christian. I am the podcast supervisor. This is probably the only time you'll see me like actually on screen, but I will always like be behind running things. So.
My name is Annie. I am the co-head of Treasury and Outreach. I will also be hosting a radio show, and it is going to be Eclectica based with a focus on indie rock and more underground sounds.
I'm Mariana, but you'll probably know me as Mari. I'm also co-treasurer, co-outreach with Annie. And I will also have I'll be hosting a radio show. And it's going to be a medley of genres with an emphasis on local artists, especially the ones at CU Denver.
Cool. Hi, I'm giggling too much, cut that. But I'm Lucy Donovan, and I so far have been running the social media and writing some articles, and in the future I will be working with Christian and some others, Izzy, on podcasting stuff.
Yes, me and Lucy will be hopefully a podcasting duo interviewing some artists. So Natalie, would you like to tell us about Denver Lynx Radio's main goals?
Yeah, so our whole goal is reaching out with the local community, especially CU Denver students, and working with them to explore all different genres of music.
Okay. Kat, would you like to talk about the types of fundraisers and events that we are going to do and that are upcoming?
Yeah, so our big event that is coming up is going to be on April 28th, and it is a Guitar Hero tournament. We're going to be having brackets. It'll be super fun. There'll be pizza. There'll be prizes. There'll be sleepover vibes. So if you're into that, come hang out. We're looking to have a lot more that we'll be working on over the summer. Down the line, hopefully we'll be working on putting on things like Battle of the Bands, event nights at local concerts, partnerships with local venues and businesses. So keep an eye out for more stuff.
Awesome. And Natalie, do you want to kind of explain how, for our viewers and our listeners, how this all started? How did this happen?
Yeah, so I'm a transfer student, and I have only been here since last semester. And the only person in the group other than Izzy that I knew coming into this was Annie. We met last semester in a class. And so this semester, in our first week of classes, we had a new professor from Nashville. And he asked us if we had a radio station. And I was surprised as a transfer student that we didn't. So after the class, me and the girls, we walked up, and I didn't know what I was going to say to him. I just walked up and it came out of my mouth, "Can you help us start a radio station?" And it kind of just took off from there.
Yeah, that's something that really surprised me when I came here as well, that we didn't have any organizations that supported all the local artists that we have. That's kind of just a missed opportunity, So it was really cool when I heard you guys were starting this and needed to be involved.
Yeah. Especially since CU Denver is such a big music business school, or just music school in general. Christian, would you like to tell us more about the podcast and what kind of content our viewers can find?
Yes, so I'm super excited to start the podcast. We have a couple bands coming in here pretty soon. That's we plan to interview and just kind of shoot them into the spotlight with our the radio and with our platform, and we're just super excited. We have some obviously artist interviews, some music industry news, album track reviews, that kind of stuff. and we're really just trying to support the Denver music community in any way that we can. I think the podcast is like one of the best ways to do that. Like, we're really excited to start this up.
Yeah. Annie, would you like to tell us some of the responsibilities of like each position? Like, for instance, your outreach. So what is like your job?
Yeah, my position, I think I'm more on the treasury side of things than the outreach side of things. I think Mar would agree. So I've mostly been doing a lot of research into the licensing costs, the equipment costs, startup costs for things like that, how we're going to be keeping track of money management for the club and all of that sort of stuff. As outreach, we mostly work on getting in contact with bands, seeing if they will let us come shoot some photos for them, do an interview for them, see if they'd like to be on our podcast. In the future, we reckon there's going to be a lot more outreach to local businesses, as far as whether we can hold some events there or if they'd like to sponsor us, things like that. So it's going to be a lot coming up in the future for that sort of thing.
Super exciting. And Lucy, you were not in class. You were one of the only few besides me that was not in this class for starting. So I just kind of want to hear like your perspective on, like, I know Mar reached out to you about, hey, like there's these crazy people that are starting the radio. What was like your perspective on that, like whenever you first heard about it?
Yeah, so I'm an English major, so I have nothing to do with any of the music things, but I went to high school with Mar, and she told me all about how you guys were talking about starting it in class, and it was before your first meeting and everything, so I was immediately like, yep, I'm in, I want to be involved. So yeah, I came to the first meeting not really knowing what was going on or who I was walking into, but I'm sure glad I did.
I'd have to agree. Yeah, I didn't know any of the other girls, and just like seeing everybody interact, I was like, okay, these are my people.
Yeah, for sure. And I would agree, it was a classmate, just surface level relationship. Yeah. Until this radio, like you guys, I think we've all turned into actual friends through this, which is crazy when you're working alongside people. That could be hard, but you can work well, like you can be compatible in a working environment, but being actual friends, like we're gonna get drinks later. Yeah. Who can say they can do that? You know?
Yeah, like I had like classes with like all you guys, but I don't think I said a single word to
No,
any of you before I interviewed.
I only knew Mari, and I'm like, I'd seen all you guys, and then I like walked into the room, and I was like, oh, friends. And like I remember like all of us saying the exact same thing. Like, it is crazy how lucky we got that like all of us are just like great friends and like perfectly compatible. Like I feel like even like just like fate businesses that like take off like don't get that lucky, and like we just all like mesh so well that it was like super good fortune for all of us.
And not even just like our relationships, we've made so many relationships already with people just in the community, not even that go to see you. And I mean, I'm the worst at knowing people in classes. Like I sit right next to someone and I have no idea who they are, so this has really opened me up to a lot of different people.
Yeah, I'd have to agree. I think furthering on that note, Nat, would you kind of explain like what we do as events sort of kind of off campus that maybe like people that are like shy and like want to be a part of the radio but don't really want to, get into a big position but still want to, be able to find those kind of social connects the way that like we did? How would our listeners do that?
Yeah, I mean, we go to local shows all the time, even if it's just a few of us. It seems like every single time there's a CU band, one of us is there to take pictures or to talk to them or just to post them on the Instagram, spread their flyers around, stuff like that. But we're always there.
And Lucy, you mentioned doing interviews at these concerts, that you've been fortunate enough to talk with like some of the band members of different groups. How has that been? I know we also do a little bit of concert photography for these groups, but what's it like interviewing artists?
Yeah, we've done a few of those together already. It has been actually like one of the sickest experiences of my life. I feel like to get to see these people perform and like do what they love and then get to talk to them about kind of how they got there afterward has been so cool. And yeah, even especially kind of walking into shows where I may not have walked in before, like it wouldn't have necessarily been something that I had even heard about without the radio station. I think that has been like so eye-opening to the kind of music scene that's already existing within Denver and how we can sort of mesh ourselves into that. And I think that it's been so much fun.
Bouncing off of that, I had no clue about anything of the music scene in Denver before I started this radio station, before I started at this school. I didn't know any of the underground bands. I didn't know any people that were in bands. And now I'm making friends with these people and I'm going to their shows all the time. And I'm feeling more enriched culturally for having been a part of this radio station because I could go see these artists and support them too.
Yeah, I agree. I feel like a lot more connected to like Denver and especially like the Denver music scene from us doing this. Yeah.
Yeah. And kind of piggybacking off of that, I feel like the artists too really getting to, because like as a listener, it seems like, oh, these artists don't really care about like their listeners or their fans, or they're just putting out music. But like talking with the artists that we get to see, it's really evident that like they care about what they're doing and they're passionate about what they're doing and they care about what the fans have to say, and just like seeing how much like their faces light up because like we come to their shows and stuff, like you can just see how much our support really means to them.
Yeah, it's like it's really unique having that kind of like small artist relationship, because it's like when you do go to a show and like they finally like sell it out, you can literally just see it on their faces, like they are just ecstatic, they're pumped. Like it's really cool.
Yeah, definitely. And something I've noticed that I think has been really cool that I probably wouldn't have noticed before is how interactive a lot of smaller artists are with their fans on stage, and how like they are literally developing that connection with these people who have followed them online, like right in front of our faces. And I think that's also been something really cool to write about, because that's sort of like a peek into a relationship that I wouldn't get to see otherwise.
Yeah, and I mean you don't really see that with like bigger artists. Like
Yeah,
even artists that have like 10,000 streams or like streams a month or something like that. Like there's just something really unique about like the small community of it,
Yeah, it's actually like so amazing to watch it.
And watching like the bands progress as well, like it's super cool thing.
Definitely.
Super cool thing.
I think also like the craziest part to me is that it like benefits the listener just as much as it does the artist. Like as much as it makes the artist feel like valued and appreciated by like the scene. Like as a listener, before I came to see Denver, like I kind of felt pretty isolated. Like I didn't run into people who liked my music that often. And like coming here and like being part of the music culture here, and, like meeting people through radio. Like I have people coming up to me and talking to me all the time about like super obscure stuff. And I'm like, no way, I found someone else who likes this. And like I'm going to this show this Friday from They Changed the World. And like I'm super excited about their collective. I only would have heard about it, from being here, and I never would have known otherwise. And so it makes the listener feel like they like have a community to be a part of and like feel understood, because music just gets shared so easily and like profusely here.
And not even just like the listener and the artist. I feel like we have been working on giving everyone an opportunity, especially like photographers, writers, like everyone that wants experience. Like we're trying to help them get out there.
Yeah, I have to agree. Like me and Lucy, like we mentioned, we're both English majors, so we're not in the music business or music major field at all. And so it's like, it's hard and it's kind of scary at first. Like everybody in the music business program seems very like intimidatingly cool. And so it's like hard to muster up the courage to talk to everybody. But then like you talk to them and it's like, okay, these are like really cool people. And it's nice to be able to have like that relationship with people that I can relate to outside of my major.
Yeah. Totally. I think everyone has been super inviting. Like I agree, they seem so intimidating and cool. But they want to interact with us just as much as we want to with them. And that's what I've noticed. Like this field is all about supporting each other, giving each other the spotlight. So I mean, it's pretty cool to see how inviting everyone has been to us in this industry. School industry.
It's a mutually beneficial relationship.
Yeah, definitely.
To say the least.
For a community build where we're creating opportunities with each other and for each other has been really cool, especially when you sort of take it in the context of how competitive it often is outside of school.
Yeah, totally.
I mean, the music industry is really just experience and connections, and the fact that we can give both to students, artists, listeners, like it's it's a great thing.
It's a pretty like
Yeah.
unique opportunity we have here. I feel like
Yeah.
like within this little bubble.
It's something I'm proud to be a part of.
A lot of the times it's about who you know, and if we pursue this like down in the future, you know, the people we're working with now are the people we're going to be working with in the future. So we got to network and connect with them now. Basically.
We're all in this together, guys.
Can I just add that I love that networking is just a fancy word for making friends?
Yeah, definitely. That's been like so much of the fun of all of this. And
It's
just
the
like
best part.
going places and being like, yeah, I'm here with the radio, but I just want to talk to you guys. Like,
I remember not trying to get like a bunch of internships and it just not working out. And so I think it definitely like sprouted off of like a need for opportunity. So if like people weren't going to help us or like if it were difficult to find these opportunities, it was like, okay, you know what? Let's make our own.
yeah, exactly. Definitely. I think it's really cool that we kind of live in an age where we don't really have to wait around for like executive approval for any of these kind of opportunities. Like we can kind of just take to social media and do it ourselves. And I think that it's been really cool to like learn that too, because this is sort of the first experience that I'm having building a team and building something from the ground up, especially sort of like a media conglomerate like we're doing. So yeah.
I like the sound of a media conglomerate.
I always say at home, we're going to be a media conglomerate that takes over the world.
So I was gonna say Matt's leadership really like has made this whole thing take off. Like we like I feel like I speak for all of us when I say like we're all inspired by each other and like Matt really just like took charge and like, you know, launched us all into this like bright new world. So
None of us could be doing this without
Yeah.
Matt.
None of us could do this without, like, I need all of you to do all of this. I think it's easy to say there's nobody else I'd rather be boss.
Literally, that's exactly what I was trying to say. Like she's the best thing. Yeah.
The organizational skills, just like, and that's the funny thing is like, none of us really had a clue of like, we weren't experts in podcasting. I mean, maybe a little bit of Christian. He had a prior experience. But yeah, none of us really had experience in radio. So it was a lot of just learning and taking in all this information and just trying to piece together what we can to just, like Lucy said, get it off the ground and just build something. And I think that's just really cool.
I mean, yeah, that's a super valuable skill to have, just like building something from the ground up, from like conception to actual like implementation, you know?
Yeah, I think one of my favorite parts has to be whenever we get in contact with somebody who has radio experience or who is very knowledgeable about these sorts of things. And they'll be like, hey, is there anything that we haven't thought of or that we should think about? Something that you found surprising getting into this business that wouldn't maybe occur to us? And we could list off a number of things. And most of the time we were like, all right, we did that. So it's been really cool to see that like, this is such a thoughtful group that we got all our bases covered without knowing that we really had. And I'm not saying by any means that we're fully polished or finished yet, but seeing that there are people out there who really do know what they're doing and that we are on the right track has been really affirming. We're not experts by any means, but maybe one day we could get there.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, we are interviewing people for these radio host positions that have way more experience than any of us.
Yeah.
But it's just crazy to see how far we've come since, like, what, the end of January?
Yeah.
Only a few months.
And like the other exciting part about that, like in tandem with everything you guys just said, is that like equally so, we have always said that like anytime we're bringing someone new on board or like looking for new members or whatever, we're always saying like, I'm sure that they're going to have tons of ideas that we haven't even thought of still. And so like, that's always super exciting to like, you know, feel this accomplished and proud of everything you come up with and then have someone come on board and they like come up with this idea and you're like, wow, like this is just incredible. And like, we're super happy to have you on our team because, you know, I feel like everyone we've brought on has been like such a valuable addition. So even if you're watching this right now, we want your ideas still. Like, there's still so much out there for us to explore, which is like the most exciting feeling anyone can have, I think.
Yeah. On that note, I'd have to agree. Like, we have our Tuesday meetings, our monthly meetings every last Tuesday of every month. And so like, it's really cool to see the people that come up to us afterwards. Cause you know, we're always like, please come tell us your ideas and like anything, we're open to hearing it. And so it's really cool to see the people that like come up to us and then they'll have some cool idea that we had never even thought of. And it's just like, it's really cool to get everybody else's ideas and like input on it, because it's not just like our radio station or our podcast. Like, we want it to be enjoyable and something that the whole, not just like students, but the whole Denver area can appreciate and listen to.
Yeah, and our slogan is that Denver Lynx Radio is a reflection of you. So all your ideas are like the most valuable part of this whole process. We are essentially crafting this to be something that the CU Denver listeners and like the larger Denver listeners, enjoy from the ground up. Like, it's something that fills a need that everyone has, and that's the whole goal.
Yeah, definitely. I think one of the parts I'm most proud of us so far is just how willing people are to share their talents with us, and how sort of we've like gotten to the place where we're organizing everybody into these groups where we can really see everybody shine. And I think that has been one of the most amazing parts of everything so far.
It's really cool to see people like that come up to you that are like just enthused as you are to do this. Like, I think that's really cool.
And they've
Even
just heard
today.
of us.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, they've just heard of us, haven't even like just reaching out, and they're still like contributing as if they've been like a part of the team since the beginning.
Yeah.
So I'm curious, thinking just kind of out of the box, it doesn't have to be super logical, but like, how do you guys see Denver Lynx Radio like expanding in the future? Like, what do you think are going to be some like milestones that'll happen either, when we're here, or probably in the near future when we've all left it to
That's ready
the
to go.
next
Generation already. So obviously our first milestone while we're here is premiering the radio in the fall. However, I am really excited to see what generations do after us. But I feel like another big milestone is going to be doing an event with like a local venue, or just doing like bigger things than like at school, something in the community
To use as a resource for both the community and our students. It's like partnerships with local businesses that benefit both the businesses and our students, opportunity-wise, financially. I think will be a big thing for us. Like, personally, something I'm really excited for is like throwing events. Hopefully, like, our little baby step towards that will be like Battle of the Bands at like some other local venue that we partner with. But I would love to start putting on like partnership events of Denver Lynx Radio with like local agencies, promotion groups, putting local bands like in the spotlight and like curating things ourselves just within the community. So.
Yeah, I really think it'd be cool to see in the future maybe like our own school campus concert. I think that would be
That'd be
that would
crazy.
be really cool. It seems like such a far off dream, but I mean, thinking about the things that we've accomplished since
3 months.
January,
Yeah.
it honestly doesn't feel that scary and as big of a thing to get to.
If you think about it, NISA hasn't been around for that long, and they're already putting on a campus concert. So it's definitely an attainable goal.
Yeah, and again, just people want to interact with us. I don't think it would be hard for us to pull something like that off, because people will sign up. Musicians
People
will sign
love
up.
music here.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah. We're so lucky to live in Denver.
Yeah.
Sure. I have realized that
Yeah.
over the course of the last year.
Every time a show gets announced, I'm like, wow.
Did not realize how rich the music community scene was in
Yeah.
Denver, especially on this campus, which again makes it all the more confusing that there wasn't a radio station already, because of how talented these people are. Yeah.
I mean, Denver in specifically is like really unique as well, because it really like the local scene is so much bigger here than it is anywhere else.
Yeah.
So like it's kind of the perfect place to do this. Like
And it like that
stars
applies to
aligned
all
here.
genres too.
yeah,
Like,
it
I already
does.
feel like that for electronic, and then like seeing all the shows you guys have been going to that I wasn't even aware of. Like, it goes through all aspects of music.
And Christian, did you just say stars aligned?
Stars
I like
aligned,
that.
yeah.
Yeah, totally. And like Lucy said, this is super competitive. This is a competitive industry, but I have yet to see any like competition, because we're all trying to support each other.
On that note, I think that our generation, and specifically like this group of students as we're going through, we're being told the rules of the industries and things like that, I think, so that we can break them. There are a lot of ways that things operate now that aren't efficient or aren't the best way of doing things or breed that competitive environment that we were talking about. And I think that we have the power to change that as young people. I think that the collaborative community aspect of radio and of our class as a whole and of this generation, we want to look out for each other. I think we've all been feeling the isolation of, as we've moved into more of an internet age and things like that, we all talk to each other through social media and stuff like that. And it's good to have actual face-to-face connections with people and actually try to build a community where we are.
Yeah.
Yeah. No.
Mic drop.
The reason why I came to the school was definitely because I didn't really know what I wanted to do. And so I think a big part of that kind of figuring out what I wanted to do was like, I just have to force myself, or not necessarily force, but like push myself into doing as much as I can, just trying new things to figure out what I like and see what sticks. And I'm very glad that this stuck.
Yeah, here's like the perfect place for it. That's exactly what I did. I like was kind of like lost, like wandering through things, and I came here and I was like, all right, this is home. This is like where I'm supposed to be, and these are like my people here.
This was my third school, so third time.
Yeah, second school, yeah. Third major.
What about you, Christian? What was your experience transferring here? Like, what made you want to come?
Well, because I was going to school in my hometown, that sucks. But,
Yeah.
Felt that.
basically so I have a bit of experience on a podcast I did last year. It was music focused as well, but basically like I just really like found that talking about music, just being around music, is something that I want to do for the rest of my life. Like it's really the only thing that I've ever been like so passionate about that I've like taken the steps to do it. And like I feel like CU Denver's kind of like a diamond in the rough, you know?
Yeah, that's how
Like,
I feel.
Yeah.
Like I
Like-
came here and I was like, wow, this was like the right decision.
Yeah, exactly. Especially with like all the alumni and like what
Yeah.
they've done, and like our like professors. Like I have like two
Yeah.
professors that are like platinum selling artists.
Yeah,
Like,
like Grammy, like you know,
yeah,
Rose Hall of
exactly.
Fame.
Like holy
Like,
shit, like
world
that's
tour.
so dope.
It's
Like,
crazy.
It's people that actually have serious business and credentials to back them up, and they have the knowledge and the expertise. I don't want to talk bad about my old school, but
Yeah.
I did 2 years there, and I never really felt like I was even a member of my major, of the school, of anything. It didn't feel personal to me. It was somewhere that I ended up. I switched majors 3 times. I was never happy there. And from the first semester that I came here to the campus, there's such a welcoming and warm community here. It really does feel, like you said, like a diamond in the rough. It's kind of incredible that we've all had this experience here. I'm glad that it's become sort of just a new opportunity for each of us who have not failed in the past, but who have tried and not succeeded.
That's a nice way to put it.
Or just not found their home.
Yeah.
Right.
been a little Amy.
Yes.
I just wish I had known about this when I graduated high school.
Yes.
But then
Me too.
we wouldn't have all ended up here to start the radio.
True.
So stars did align.
Yeah.
Serendipity.
It's not like it's not like we've been having to fight for this radio to happen. Like the professors here, the staff here want this to happen. They're so excited that we're doing this.
I think they realize that like we're filling a gap. You know.
Yes.
Yeah.
Totally.
So-
That's what they keep telling us to look for. They keep telling us to look for the opportunities, so we took it.
Yeah, definitely. I think the encouragement that we've been met with from staff at CU Denver has been like so much of the reason that all of this has been as sort of seamless as we have carried it out to be. And I'm so grateful for that, because I don't necessarily think that would be the case everywhere.
And if we didn't have that support, like even if we did do it, it would be on like a much smaller scale. So I
Yeah.
feel like that support from like our professors in the CU Denver community and as a whole has like really expanded our ideas, you know, expanded like
Definitely.
what we think we can do and what we're going to do. So,
And it's because of the support of the staff that we're even in this specific room right now.
yeah.
Yeah.
Very
True.
true.
I was like,
Very
true.
true.
Lion came up to us and was like, "Psst."
There's a studio downstairs.
Nat, I know we just hired a lot of people. I think we
Yeah.
did about 2 weeks full of interviews. very exhausting, but I think it got us a lot of progress. Would you like to kind of explain like the new positions and the new people?
It was exhausting, but it was also very exciting to meet all of these people and see all of the experience that they have, because I mean, a lot of us are transfer students, and so a lot of these people have done like either radio stuff or event things, podcasting before they came to this school. So we've hired a few committee chairs. We've hired an event chair who's kind of going to double with outreach. And then we have a social media committee. We have about 3-4 people right now that are going to be working on that. And then we also have hired 3 radio hosts and 2 or 3 additional podcast hosts. And then we have an intern for Christian. And then we also have a studio manager.
Yes, and I would like to shout them out. We've got Lexi and Isis in our studio today with us. Would not be possible without them, so thank you guys. Thank you guys.
You guys are great. Thank you.
Yeah, but yeah, would you like to kind of plug our socials and
Oh yeah, so we're Denver Lynx Radio on everything. We've got a Medium where we're posting our articles right now. We've got TikTok, Facebook, Instagram, what am I missing? Twitter, yeah.
TikTok,
everything.
Spotify.
Where
this
this
will be.
And on our Spotify, we will be making tons of playlists for each of our specific music tastes, for specific moods. We're going to have a Spotify manager specifically for that. So if you guys want our music taste, aside from just listening to our show and even before our show premieres, go check out our Spotify. Again, Denver Lynx Radio.
That is another position that we hired.
Oh,
Yes.
yeah. And we will also be posting the podcast on Spotify.
Yeah, I was gonna say, if you're listening to this, I hope you can click on our profile and go through our playlists.
Yeah.
But if you haven't already, also see our amazing TikToks. The few that we have out right now. Definitely a lot of help from Natalie and Lucy and everybody. I think they're quite comical, but hopefully we'll get some good ones out soon with our new social media committee. But yeah, we're all just really excited to, I think that hasn't been said enough. I think we'll maybe beat that horse until it's dead. But I think it's pretty obvious that we're all like really excited and lucky to be here and doing this. So thank you guys so much for listening. Stay tuned for more podcasts and our radio show premiering soon. Thank you so much. All right.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.